What's going on, family? This is Inspired to be Great, and I am your host, Ron Miles. Listen, family, I just want to, as always, thank you guys for all the support. Thank you for all your comments. Thank you for all your feedback on the shows. I appreciate the dialogue that's being started. I appreciate the fact that you are growing, that you are gaining some type of knowledge, some type of wisdom, something out of what we're doing. The goal of the show is just for you to become better. Like I said, Inspired to be Great was created to strike at the core of you becoming your best you, whether it's in life or business. However we need to feed you, we want to be able to give it to you. And I just appreciate, like I said, the dialogue, the back and forth that's going on. Why? Because I'm being educated too. I'm not just being one who's giving off knowledge. I'm open to learning. As I tell people all the time, education is the great equalizer, or information changes situations. Just think about that for a second, family. When you didn't know a certain thing, when you had no clue about it, you were stuck in that whatever predicament, whatever situation it may have been. But once you got more information, once you became more knowledgeable about what was taking place, what was going on, what did it do? It changed your outlook on it. It changed how you thought about it. It changed how you perceived that thing. And so what did that do? That changed how you attacked it. That changed how you approached it. And by changing how you approach it, it altered the ending for you. Why? Because if you didn't know what you knew or what you learned, you would have had a different outcome. You would have handled things in a different manner. Your attitude may have been different. The way you saw it may have been different. You may not have handled it the way that you needed to. Why? Because your information helped change your situation. The problem is too many people are learning from the wrong things, or too many people are not willing to sit and learn. Everybody wants to say they know everything. Everybody wants to be on top. Everybody wants to prove their point. Nobody wants to be able to sit up under anybody anymore and actually take the time to learn. You know, it's funny that you'll go through school and you'll learn everything you need to know through school. And then you'll say, I'll go to college. I'm going to college. College is my next step. And you go to college. Why? To sit and learn, only to come out from college, in most people's cases, in debt, but come out of college. And now we feel like, can't nobody tell me anything. Listen, the day you stop learning is the day you start dying. Why? Because the goal is to evolve, to become better, to become more efficient, to become your best self, your best you, and to make other people better around you. But if you decide that, hey, I have all the education I need, I done learned everything I needed to learn, can't nobody tell me nothing. If that's your attitude, then you're done. It's over for you. Why? Because education is the great equalizer. And I don't mean that's for going to school, but I mean learning your craft, learning your passion, learning your trade, and actually honoring what you do, honoring what you learn, actually taking hold of it and saying, you know what, this is my precious gift. This is my precious thing. This is my precious book. This is my precious poem. This is my precious business. This is whatever it may be, that you really honor it, that you take hold of it, that you become passionate about it. And say, you know what, this is for me. This is what's meant for me. This is my purpose. This is what I'm meant to do at this particular time and juncture in my life. And the reason I say time and juncture in my life, because as you grow, as you learn, as you start accomplishing your goals, you find yourself having new interests. Why do you have new interests? Because you opened the doors for new opportunity. Why? Because you decided that you wasn't done learning, or you weren't done learning. That's why, family. So let education be your great equalizer. Don't tell yourself that you're done learning. Don't tell yourself that there's nothing else anybody can teach you. Don't tell yourself that you don't have nothing else left to give. Why? Because the day you do that, like I said, it's the day you actually quit living. Yes, physically you're still here, but mentally you're leaving. Spiritually you're leaving. Why? Because you've been told, you've made up in your mind that that's it. There's nothing else I can do. And what that is, that's called a person falling into their own habit or into their own ways. Have you ever met somebody like that? You know, that person where people tell you, especially when you first meet them, or they say, oh, that's just Joe. Joe just like that. Don't worry about it. No. The way Joe's acting is unacceptable. And part of that is having respect for yourself, having your own dignity, your own self-worth, and saying, you know what, Joe, you will not act like that around me. I can't tell you how to act around other people, but me personally, I will not accept that behavior. I will not accept those actions. You sometimes have to dictate to your situation what you will accept and what you won't accept. The problem is because people, like the Bible says, my people perish for lack of knowledge. Why? It's not that you don't have an understanding. It's not that you don't have knowledge. It's not that you don't have a brain. It's not that you don't have or you're not equipped with the necessary tools to complete it. It's the fact that you decided that you're done learning, that you don't want to know anymore, that what you've learned, you felt is good enough for you to live off of. You felt is good enough for you to survive. And it's not, family. It's not. You have to become better. You have to be willing to open up a book. As I tell people, if you're not a book reader, I wasn't a book reader. I was a person who rarely read books, who didn't really find an interest in books at all. Now, I still to this day, I still prefer audiobook over regular book. Why? Because an audiobook can go in the car with me. If I just want to sit and listen at home, I can sit and listen at home as I do any other things. But the thing I've learned about actually reading a book is the focus it takes to actually open up my mind and focus in on the words and what's being told to me, which allows me to write. My attention is on this particular thing. So I tell people, even if you just read a chapter a day or make it a chapter a week until you become more comfortable reading. But reading is just like any other thing. It becomes repetition. You have to build up the muscles to be able to do it. A lot of people, just think about it. It was something in life that you really didn't want to do. You really didn't care for. You had no interest in doing it, but you knew you had to. See, the problem is a lot of people don't put that I have to in front of it. A lot of people accept whatever life tells them and they go from there. And that's a major problem. Why? Because you become content. You become complacent. You become comfortable. As I tell people, it's okay to be content in a situation. It's something totally different to be complacent in that situation, to become comfortable. Why? Because once you become comfortable, you won't accept change. You won't accept anything different. You still want it the way it was told it was going to come. You want it the way you had it last time. Just think about that restaurant. You go to a specific restaurant and you geeked about it. Why? Because when you went there the one time, the server was great. They were fun and energetic. They entertained you. They were there anytime you needed something, or half the time it was before you even needed. They came and checked on you. The food came out piping hot, had great flavor. It was just everything. You had nice portion sizes. Everything about that was just amazing. So you like, I have to come back. This is the spot. They do it just the way I like it, right? They do it just the way you like it. You wouldn't want it no other way. But then you come back again, right? And when you come back, it's a different server. There's probably a different cook in there. The food's not exactly how you like it or what you want. And so now you're disappointed. You're disappointed. Why? Because it's not what you remembered, because you can't deal with change the way you should. And just like on your job, you get frustrated because your job is changing. We don't use those same machines no more. We didn't update it. We now only have to do X, Y, and Z, when before we used to have to do everything. And you have to be willing to change, family. And the only way to make change easier is to educate yourself on the changes, is to educate yourself on how you could be best utilized for the changes, how you can take advantage of it. But if you refuse to read, if you refuse to grow, if you refuse to expand yourself, expand your knowledge, expand your wisdom, then you are going to be stuck and lost in the shuffle. So I challenge you, family. I challenge you to educate yourself. Make education, like I said, the great equalizer. If you don't know something, go out and learn it for yourself. Teach yourself it. It doesn't always cost. The most it costs is your time and your effort. And the problem is people nowadays do not want to give time and effort. They want it to just everything to be right there. They want to complain about the job. They want to complain about the food. They want to complain about the service. They want to complain about them having to be there because they're afraid of the dirty word we call work. I don't care where you go, how you go about it, whatever you have to do, there's work to be done until the day you die. There's work to be done. I don't care if it's work in your family. I don't care if it's work around your house. I don't care if it's work on your job. I don't care if it's work on the car. I don't care what the work is. There's always work to be done. The question is, are you going to give the right amount of effort? Are you going to give it the right amount of focus? Are you going to give it the right amount of knowledge to execute it, to make sure it's done properly? And that's something you have to make up within yourself. That's something you have to come to grips with yourself. You say, you know what, no matter what the job is, I'm going to get it done. I'm going to give it 120%. I'm going to give it 150%. I'm going to give it everything I got. Why? Because I have to look at myself in the mirror at the end of the day and say, did I go as hard as I could? Did I accomplish everything that I want to? Did I make every effort to get my goals done? And if not, that's nobody's fault but mine. I can't blame the mailman because he didn't come on time. I can't blame my wife because she didn't have it ready the way I needed it. I can't blame my boss because my boss didn't do his part. No. Did I do everything I can? And if it's something, like I said, you don't know, you go learn it yourself. It's too much technology. It's too many different avenues to learn things. Everybody know, you Google it. I mean, if you don't know, Google it. And if you don't know, if you want a video on it, you go to YouTube. There's somebody who's doing what you've done, but they just not doing it the way you're capable of doing it, family. So you have to make it up in your mind. You have to make it up within yourself that I am going to be the best. I'm going to educate myself. Why? To level the playing field. I don't care if somebody went out and got a master's degree, a doctor's degree, but if they don't have the experience in it, then they're no better than anybody else. And how do you get the experience? You educate yourself and then you do it. You do it. I mean, that's as simple as I tell people all the time in my business course. You don't necessarily have to have that 4-year degree to start your business. Matter of fact, I'll break it down to you. To be a full-grown business, it usually takes 2 to 3 years to be a full-grown flourishing business. But within your first 6 to 9 months, maybe a year top, you're able to go to a bank and get a loan of $40,000, $50,000, and you can go to multiple banks and do that to get the loans that you need. When you go out and you spend $60,000 a year on an education that may not pay you back in 4 years, that you may not have a degree in your field in 4 years, that you may not be able to go and work in 4 years. And you can have a full-grown business bringing in 6 figures in 2 to 3 years, if not quicker, depending on how you strategize it, how you market it, and if you take the necessary and correct steps that's being taught to educate yourself and to solidify your place in the business world. Do you know that more than 50 million people in America nowadays have a business, an online digital marketing business, from a digital business from some standpoint where they're selling things online? More than 50 million people. And statistics show by 2020, almost a little over 70% of Americans will have a home-based business where they're doing work from their laptop. And you're probably saying, well, how? Educate yourself. Find out what your passion is and find somebody who will pay you for your passion. I truly believe that. Why? Because I've done it. I found out what I was passionate about. I understood what I was passionate about. And then I went after it aggressively. I educated myself on it. I didn't need to go to no school to teach me about it. I figured out how to do it on my own. So I'm telling you, family, you are capable of doing it as well. You're capable of changing your situation right now. You don't have to go to that 4-year school. You don't have to go out and study and be an apprentice for X amount of years or whatever it may be. You can go and educate yourself and say, you know what, I'm starting my business now. I'm going into what I love to do now. I'm taking advantage of the time now. Why? Because education is the great equalizer. The information that you have will change your situation that you're in. But the problem is you're trying to take information from those whose situation is no better than yours. Surround yourself. Like I said, your circle of influence will determine your outlook on life. If you're surrounding yourself around procrastinating people, around lazy people, around people who have negative attitudes, around people who's not even making 5 figures a year, let alone 6 figures a year, that's who you are going to be. Well, like I said, where your focus is lies your future. So whatever your focus is on, that's what you're going to produce. The people you're around are going to help etch out and carve your future for you. So you need to change your circle of influence. You need to start putting yourself in position and around people that's going to push you to the next level, that's going to grab hold of you and hold you accountable and say, no, you said you was going to have this done in a month. You said you were going to have this done by the end of the week. You said you were going to have this done by the end of today. But most of all, you need to hold yourself accountable and say, I owe it to myself to learn this new thing. I owe it to myself to build this website. I owe it to myself to start this business. I owe it to myself to change my family's outcome. I owe it to myself to be the best that I can be. And until you do that, until you're willing to make those sacrifices, until you're willing to educate yourself to change your situation by the information you take in, you're going nowhere. Like I said, family, I want to thank you for your support. Thank you for everything that you've been doing for us. Thank you for the comments, the feedback. Remember, go to the website, click follow, click subscribe, put your email in. It's super simple, super easy, and I look forward to hearing from you. Remember, greatness only happens when you make good the enemy of great. Have a good one, family.